Hi, folks. I'm the Bald Guy, and these are Bald Guy Basics. Today, I want to talk to young homeowners. I want to talk to people who are starting out with their collection of tools and deciding what to buy. And for any person who has anything to do around the house, I'm talking about things as simple as tightening up a hinge on a cabinet, hanging a picture, any application for driving screws. You are going to want an electric drill. And there are choices beyond count about the brands, the style. I want to talk to you today about what I consider for light duty one of the handiest tools in my toolbox. That is the Black & Decker Matrix electric drill. It comes with a 20-volt lithium-ion battery that works very easily on several of their other pieces of equipment. I've got a couple of these batteries. I've got more than one piece of equipment. I've got 3 different pieces here that use this same system. I absolutely love it. So I want to talk to you about some of the options that are out there. Now I have this to compare with Mr. DeWalt. Now, it's not because this is the closest comparison for DeWalt. This is not a 20-volt system. This is an 18, and this is a NiCad system. So you see the difference in battery size here? I can tell you there's quite a difference in weight in picking these things up. If I were going to rate the two of these, the DeWalt certainly has a little bit more power, but it lacks the versatility, which is why I'm going to promote this particular one. And by the way, I am not getting anything out of this kind of endorsement from Black & Decker. They don't even know I'm doing this. But short version, why is the Black & Decker Matrix the one of the best choices? It's not just one reason. The first is economy. I looked just a few moments ago on Amazon as well as eBay. And right now you can get the Black & Decker Matrix with the battery for $59.95 or $59.97, whatever, right at $60. Same price on eBay. The only difference I could find is the newer version is white in color rather than the orange. So irrelevant. So you have, number one, the price. The comparable DeWalt, that is a 20-volt lithium battery, is typically priced at about $169. Right now, Amazon has one on sale for $99. Includes the charger and actually 2 batteries. So it is quite the deal. But I'm still going to favor, for normal use, the Black & Decker. There's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, I have the Black & Decker. I have the DeWalt. I have a Harbor Freight brand, Chicago Electric, 18-volt, which that thing is a monster. I have a couple of Snap-on impact drivers. For everyday use, I pull this one out far and away more than the others. The reasons include size, portability. The battery is lightweight, but it is enough. I very rarely, with a charged battery, have a project that is so vast that I'm going to need to stop and recharge. A couple of years ago, I built a lean-to off of my little barn down here, off of my Longworth barn. And the lean-to is 16 feet by 8 feet, I think. Put all metal screws in the top of these with self-tapping screws. The Black & Decker did it all, and it was wonderful. It's light. But here's the thing that this one does that others do not. The Matrix system has a quick connect detach. So here is my driver for just screwdriving purposes. An impact driver, which basically doubles my power. We replaced a deck the other year, and I was driving some 3-inch decking screws. And I'll admit, the 20-volt Black & Decker system did real good till about the last 3/4 of an inch. And then I started reaching the upper limits of its torque capability. Put the drill driver on, and it sunk those things. You had to be careful. You'll sink them down in the wood. So I keep the drill driver. I have a trim saw, which is basically a small circular saw here. I can cut 2x4s. I have to make the last, less than ½ inch cut from the back side. It won't cut all the way through, but it cuts with remarkable stability. It cuts very cleanly. And again, especially when I was up on this lean-to, on the rafters, I didn't have to run a power line down to where I was working because I was away from the house. And it was remarkably mobile in terms of its ability to handle. If you look online, I've got my tablet here hooked up. You see I've got the drill driver, the impact driver, I've got the trim saw. They make a router attachment, a jigsaw attachment, a sawzall or a reciprocating saw attachment. There is actually a little air compressor attachment. What else am I seeing here? Oh, there is the little triangle-shaped detail sander attachment. If you're willing to spend, and on average, I'm looking at these prices on Amazon at the moment. Let me see, am I still on Amazon or am I on eBay? I'm on eBay at the moment. Some of these attachments used starting at $15. Brand new, the impact driver starts at $18.77 plus delivery fee, and that varies by seller. So you can pick these things up for quite a reasonable price. And if I were buying one tool to be in my toolbox that had the most versatility, the greatest economy with dependability, I would buy the Black & Decker Matrix 20 volt. Now, if you're in construction and you're going to be using these things all day, every day, I would go with the DeWalt in the lithium battery, not the NiCads. The NiCads, the batteries don't last as long. But here's another issue for the average homeowner who is not using these things day in and day out. You pick it up. The lithium holds its charge so much longer. I charge these things for the kind of use that I do. I charge these things every other month. I will have to give a nod to the Snap-on. Now, of course, my Snap-ons, hang on a minute. I got a couple of these. These were for industrial use. I haven't charged this thing in a year. And I've got 3 out of 4 lights on the battery. The batteries on these things are absolutely amazing. I inherited this basically when we had a family member to pass away. Very unfortunately, that was 2015. I'm making this video in 2023. And these things are still holding their charge. Literally, there are times when they'll sit in this drawer for a year. Pick them up, and they have 75% charge. So if you're in an industrial setting, these were used working on bulldozers. You've got to spend that kind of money. But I looked these things up. You can spend $600, $700, $800 on these things. $59.95. If you are a home project person, as I was looking on, I think it was on Amazon, I found the full Black & Decker kit. So you get the drill, the battery, and about 8 or 9 different tools for $350. And that's new. These are not used. I also saw this same drill with the driver, the regular drill driver, and the impact driver. Now this was on eBay, of course. The bid right now was at $15. Battery and charger included. Friends, if you want a versatile tool for your toolbox, I highly recommend this because literally, this is the impact driver. There's a button on top here and a little foot that slides in. I'm done. I'm attached. Remove that. Make sure I've got this thing oriented right. There's my saw. Has a nice little safety on the side that you have to pull up with your finger here. It works wonderfully, and we've replaced the deck, we've replaced the front steps, any number of inside household chores. I built the shed out back, and this has been more than sufficient for what I consider light-duty homeowner projects. And I've had this thing now for several years, and the original battery is still with it. You can get some other, I call this a novelty, the Black & Decker work light, but the battery flips right on with that. You've got a nice little LED light. I also have a Black & Decker Sawzall, uses the same 20 volt lithium battery. It's great to have that interchangeable feature between your tools. So if you're starting out, buy once, cry once. If you're planning on starting a mechanic shop, if you're going to go into heavy industrial work, yeah, you're going to have to buy. If you're going to get into construction, you're going to have to buy those high-end tools. You're going to spend, if you're buying a lot of these DeWalt's, you're lucky if you go to a big box store, a Home Depot, a Lowe's, chances are when you buy this, you're going to have to buy the tool battery free. I don't mean a free battery. It comes without a battery, and then you have to turn around and buy the battery. I did find them on the online marketers, Amazon, eBay, in a package deal. And if you can find those, that's worth it. If I didn't already have this, I would be very tempted by that deal on Amazon for a 20 volt DeWalt with 2 batteries for $100, $99.95. Free shipping for Prime members. That's a great deal until you consider, but then if I want an impact driver, I've got to go and make another purchase. If I wanted any of these other features, I've got to make another purchase. Yeah, you got to make another purchase for the attachments, unless you buy the whole big kit. But I was able to buy the attachments that I use most, that I get a lot of service out of, a lot of use for, and I don't have all the other, I'm not going to use, I've got a router, I've got a Dremel tool, I've got a Sawzall. I don't need some of those attachments. So I really like this option. So if you're looking for a tool to get started in your projects around the house with, I would highly recommend you look at the Matrix drill by Black & Decker in the 20 volt. I don't know that it comes in any other way. Oh, by the way, you can buy 20 volt lithium batteries that have larger amp hours. I've got one here that is a 1.5 amp hour. This, where does it say amp hour? It says 30 watt hours, which is probably the same. So these are probably the same. Helps to turn them right side up. Yeah, these are the same. And 1.5 amp hours, that's pretty small. But again, this I'm calling this light duty. If you have heavy duty needs, you're going to have to change most likely to a heavier duty tool. But this one has been more than capable for all of the things that I want to do. I'll tell you a little story, not about the Matrix, but it involved my 20 volt battery. For Christmas this year, I asked the wife to get me the Black & Decker 20 volt Sawzall, reciprocating saw. And recently, the way our house is, you go down the hall and you have to turn to get into the back room, and we had a sleep sofa back there. Well, the reality is we just didn't use it. That's where my office is, and the wife tasked me to get the sleep sofa out. We weren't going to try to sell it. It had a damage to the fold-up system, the sleep sofa system, which I could have, it was a bend rather than a break, so I could have repaired that. It had almost no use on it. But the problem was I couldn't get it out of that room by myself. When it was placed into that room, the movers did it. The furniture company with their professional movers brought this thing in. I wasn't here, didn't see how they did it. But I've built furniture for a living for a while. So I knew how to take the sleeper unit out, I call it the mousetrap. Literally about 3 screws on each side. The thing pops right out, so I just take the mattress off, walk that up the hall, no problem. Take the unit out, the fold-up unit, left it folded up, walked it up the hall, no problem. But the physical size of my the sleep sofa body itself couldn't get it out. Grabbed my 20 volt battery, put it on my Sawzall, went over there and cut the arms free from the back rail and the front rail, carried the thing out in 4 pieces. It took 8 minutes. So those kind of tools and that's not an everyday application, I do get that. But those kind of tools they're worth their weight in gold. Because when I told you about the Chicago Electric, I'll show it to you. And again, this is one that I inherited. I've got other batteries, but look at the size comparison, even to the DeWalt. This thing is huge. So it covers up the DeWalt, and it's just, gosh, it's heavy. Look at the size of the battery compared to the other one. So there's the extra weight. The problem I have with some of these off-brands, I can buy this cheaper. That battery doesn't last as long. It doesn't hold a charge as long. So now I'm frustrated because I go to the tool bin. This one works, that one works, the two snap-ons work. I've got another DeWalt tool down here. They all work. And I don't want to spend money on a tool that's not going to last. Like most other tools, but I don't throw it away because of the way I inherited it. Like most other tools, not only can you buy the Black & Decker batteries, you can buy, I just call them off brands, brands made by other, and I always read the reviews on those. You can buy them for a really nice price. I forget the price. I saw a 2-pack lithium-ion 20-volt battery set for like either $20 or $30, and I forget which it was. So don't quote me on that. It was very reasonable. You go to buy a DeWalt battery, you're more likely to spend $50, $60, $70. I have bought some off-brand replacement batteries for these. I don't get the same service out of them, and of course these are NiCad rather than lithium. This is one of those. It is sufficient for what I do. If I were going to buy this for everyday construction use, if I were installing decks every day, I'd go get the DeWalt and I'd have to fork over the money. So for my money, a very good choice for your toolbox, the Black & Decker Matrix with its interchangeable system. Think of the tools that you'll be using, and literally, if you put them in the right direction, I use one finger to release it and just pull it. It's an easy system to use. There's no complexity to it. The driver has an 11-position clutch, very handy for reducing torque on things that you don't want to strip out. I give it a thumbs up. And that's the Bald Guy with your basic for today. Hope that helps you, and I hope you have a good time with your tools. Good tools makes the job easier.